My dental game is sick, so any trash you're talking, just throw it right in the garbage, because these teeth, they're always shining, baby. They're always shining. Hey everyone, it's time for a review of the new Bones mixtape, Useless. Bones is a prolific Cali rapper who I didn't anticipate I would be reviewing again anytime soon. I'm not sure if he's too happy about my last review of his music, nor are his fans, but that's neither here nor there. He has quite a few mixtapes under his belt at this point, over 2 dozen, a great deal of which have a very distinct sound. It's eerie, devilish rap music that borrows a lot of flows from Bone Thugs-n-Harmony, 3 6 Mafia. Bones' voice can be a little monotone. The instrumentals, cloudy, murky, nocturnal, trap-flavored, very dreary melodies. Occasionally some guitars work their way into the mix. Occasionally some singing works its way into the mix, although I have not really cared much for Bones' singing in the past. And one more thing is that the tracks are usually pretty brief, like 1 to 2 minutes, maybe 3. And all of these characteristics carry over onto this new project over here, but there are some noticeable improvements, which most likely came gradually with one project after another. Kind of hard to notice in between mixtapes, but comparing this with what Bones was doing 5 tapes ago, the sound quality's better, the production is heavier, more vibrant, doesn't really sound flat, the vocals sound they're recorded better, and Bones' delivery, I think, has a bit more diversity to it. Sure, he's always sung, but some of the screamed vocals that I know he's worked into previous projects sound so much better here, to the point where they're fierce, they're hair-raising. Still though, I wouldn't call Bones marketable exactly, and that's very much an intentional thing for him, I'm sure. But still, despite that, his fan base is fairly large and rabid, and he even has the attention of artists like A$AP Rocky. It sounds like to me, much of the stuff that Bones was shooting for on his earlier mixtapes, he's just hitting right on target here. Even if it is kind of a short project at just 9 tracks, I do wish it was longer. But still, what little material here we do have is borderline disturbing and has a very real creep factor to it. The opening track is a very quiet tune, distant guitar lead, very dreary, very sad. The lyrics, I think, kind of deal in a bit of betrayal, and they're delivered with vocals that are very subdued, very monotone. This intro kind of puts me into kind of a lull, a bit of a hypnotic state, and then we jump right into the song Rest in Peace, and this song goes hard as fuck. It's one of Bones' best songs yet. The bass on this thing is pummeling. It's oppressive. It's like I'm listening to death metal or something. It's that mean. I mean, it's not close to death metal in style, but I think it's close to death metal in that it's so morbid, it's so sinister, it's so frightening. His flow on the verses on this track is to be expected, but pretty great. He sounds a little more amped than usual, and then he works in these scream vocals. They are throat shredding, and they actually work really well in the context of this hip-hop song. Usually such a thing, especially vocals like this, I could never imagine fitting into a hip-hop song that wouldn't make me cringe. But here, with this very eerie production and this very dark demeanor, it works so well. On the song Keep Telling Yourself That, we have another dreary melody, a pretty straightforward flow for Bones, and lyrically it's kind of an introspective moment for him. It's like he's reflecting upon another music artist, somebody who might be more famous than him or just as famous as him, but doesn't seem to have the foresight or the creativity or the lasting power that he feels like he's gonna have. On the track Glad We Have an Understanding, the aggression comes back, harder hitting beat, throat shredding screams that trade places with these very, very subdued, just so understated sung vocals. He's just hitting the deepest spot of his range here. Listening to these sung vocals is kind of like a stalker creeping up on you or something. But that's the thing about this tape. It's not really about feeling comfortable. It's sort of something that's I think trying to keep you on the edge of your seat. Like you might get up at any moment because you're either feeling a little unsettled, or you might just sink back into your chair and relax because you're a total sicko. On the song Tempo, I wish this track was a little meatier, a little longer, had some more prominent vocals, a stronger verse, but I do like the instrumental here a lot, especially with the very ear-piercing shrieking tones. Sounds like something straight out of a horror movie, which many of these melodies do. It's kind of like I'm listening to revised John Carpenter soundtrack snippets just worked into these dark, just frightening trap instrumentals. That's exactly how I feel about the song Right on Schedule. And immediately after, the project takes a bit of a soft turn with the song Soil. If there ever was a hip-hop song that was perfect for a funeral, it would be this one.
Though I will say, this track does have some of my least favorite lyrics on the entire record. What do you know? No, we gotta go. But it does seem that Bones is trying to paint a picture of people who seem like they're avoiding him or something. Like just his presence creates an awkward situation, like maybe they hate him, maybe they're jealous.
And with the song Translucent, this is kind of a nice change of pace because melodically, this track is super heavenly. Oddly enough, this to me sounds like something that would have made great for a song in like a Super Nintendo RPG or something. Like I'm reminded of like a snow level in like a 16-bit video game, or maybe just like the first snow outside. It's really beautiful. It's really gentle. It's funny and interesting that Bones is capable of music that is just so gut-wrenchingly dark. And then he whips out a track like this, which is so, in a way, dainty, pretty. And on the closing track here, it seems like Bones kind of has the last laugh. He is reflecting on people, or specifically teachers, who might have told him that he shouldn't drop out, he's not going to amount to anything, the choices that he's making are crappy, but yet he's here kind of forming his own lane, making a name for himself, growing his fan base, and improving the music that he's making. And he's doing it all on his own terms, regardless of whether or not I enjoy another Bones project into the future. I admire that. I'm feeling a decent strong 7 on this thing.
Transition. Have you given this mixtape a listen? It's a tape, but it rides a lot like an EP, I think. So, you know, I think if you go into this thing with EP expectations and look for some good, dark hip-hop music, then I think you're going to find a lot to like here. What did you think of this project if you heard it? Did you love it, hate it, why? What do you think I should review next? You the best, you the best, you the best. Forever.